Hello everyone and welcome to All Things Watched. In this video we are going to review not necessarily a brand new movie but a newer movie which I believe actually came out last year or was made last year or something like that, which was titled Refuge. Now I've seen this movie probably about a week ago or so now, so my memory might be a little bit foggy about it, but all I do remember is that I was not a fan of this movie, Refuge. Essentially what the movie is about, the movie stars Raza Jeffrey, Jason Fleming, Sophia Simnet, Jonathan Harlan, Shervin Alanabi, if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. And Ewan McNaughton or McNaughton or something. I'm probably butchering all those names, but anyways, the idea is that it's all about this this veteran, or veteran now, I guess, because he seems like he's maybe retired, and this veteran is dealing with a lot of this post-traumatic stress and all this stuff, and PTSD and all that kind of stuff, and and he's home right now and he's living with his girl or his wife or wife to be. Actually, I think they were married, and like I said, I've seen her about a week ago, so I'm a little foggy now, but I'm pretty sure they were married. And the idea is that he comes home now, he's trying to deal with all this stress and whatnot, but what we learn as the movie goes on is that he's actually possessed by some form of demon or dark entity, which he actually ended up catching when he was overseas. And this thing, when he was in a cave, this dark entity, or this whatever it is, demon, ghost, possession type creature, ends up possessing him, and then he ends up coming home, and of course this thing starts taking him over and all this kind of crazy stuff. And that in a nutshell is what the movie is about. Now on paper, or even just me describing the movie, it does sound like it's probably something worth watching, something really cool, something very exciting. This ex-veteran who's probably already a little bit, messed up mentally, dealing with PSD and stuff, PTSD, and that alone is a battle, right? But now on top of that, possessed by an entity makes it even worse, right? But honestly, when I actually seen the movie, I was like, wow, this is probably one of the worst movies that I've ever seen, one of the worst horror movies, at least in this type of genre, of possessions, entity, demons, and all this type of thing. I really did think that this was an absolute atrocious movie, and I have no disrespect to anyone that made it. Everybody, I'm sure, did their best, and whatnot, but I just thought the writing was so bad. I didn't think the directing was terrible. I thought it was a pretty well directed movie. It looked well visually. Most of the times it looked well. There were a few times during the end of the movie when it looked a little fake, it looked a little CGI, especially when the entity sort of first appears, like when we first see it, when it possesses him, so to speak, like in the caves. It looked a little bit fake, but I wouldn't go as far as saying it wasn't like CW superhero fake stuff. It was better than that, but also not like on the scale of some big blockbuster hits. I would say it was okay. It was watchable, passable, but not really the greatest CGI in the world. So I was able to look past that. Thought the directing was good. The acting I thought was okay at best. I did find that some of the characters or some of the actors probably acted a little bit more than what they really needed to. And then of course the story, which I guess would be the writing, or mainly the writing, is where this movie really bombs, because I just feel like the movie was really trying to force you to I don't even really know what the movie was trying to do, really. I feel like during this movie, certain times the movie's always trying to go one way, but then it kind of goes another way, and then I almost felt like the movie didn't really know what it wanted to be, in the sense of I just felt like I just felt like the story was kind of all over the place, because you're trying to tell the story, the modern day story, and the history about how he got possessed and his time overseas, and they're sort of telling all this at the same time, so to speak. So modern day, and then you get a flashback and sort of like that. And so I did feel like that was okay, but I just felt like the modern day stuff was less interesting than the flashbacks, but we're following them in the modern day. And I just really thought that the whole idea of especially towards the third act, when you get to the third act, minor spoilers I guess, but you end up getting all, it seems like a whole bunch of people are possessed by these entities, and it becomes just this big mess, this big battle, this big weird, to me it almost put you in mind of something like magical, almost like it tried to be this big fantastical magical type battle, but at the end of the day it was just somebody who was possessed by a demon. So if you're going to have a demon or entity possessed type thing, then keep it grounded. Don't make it, or try to make it this big thing, because it's become so unbelievable that it just, I don't know, it to me, it was just way too unbelievable. And I know we're supposed to suspend our imagination and suspend reality when we see film, but this one just really took the cake for me. Honestly, I was actually more interested in the story if he had not have been possessed, or did not have a demon or an entity possessing him. I would have been more interested to see him just dealing with PTSD and that becoming the horror movie, like him now maybe going against his wife because he's struggling, he thinks he's still at war, or that type of thing. Like, that to me was a more compelling story than this veteran who was possessed. On paper, like I said, the premise of it sounded interesting, but once I seen it all, I was like, wow, this is like some of the biggest garbage I've seen in a very long time. So for me, with the way I'm telling, I'm sure you can tell, for me, Refuge was absolutely a fail, and I would not recommend you watch that. So with that being said, folks, that's my review of the 2023 movie Refuge. Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen it, and if you'd like to tell me why or why not. If you like this video, click the subscribe button, and until the next one, take care.